this stuff that's happening in the Middle East, what do you reckon is going to happen?
What's happening in the Middle East?
Well, Israel and Palestine. Do you reckon?
This goes on all the time.
Yeah.
There's constant tensions there, and every now and then it boils up and then settles down, and then it comes back again in a few years. It's been going along. This has been going on as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm old, but
nudge, nudge, wink, wink, Saddam.
So we've been down that road. I'm not 50.
Yeah, yet.
Not even 50 yet.
Not even 50 yet. No, but seriously, I mean, does anyone know what the reason is for all this stuff? I mean, can they not sort their shit out?
I think from both sides, there's lack of people willing to compromise.
Yeah.
That's generally how any conflict starts, right? And how it goes on, definitely. So, yeah, I think everyone's comfortable with the way things are going, in terms of, both sides. But it's pretty insane. I mean, like, the conflict there has a tremendous cost in terms of, like, human lives. And I think the international community is, like, given up on the whole mediation aspect of that conflict. Lester, how long has it been going? Like, definitely longer than 20, 30 years.
Yeah, it's been going since the 40s.
Well, I think it was when the State of Israel came to be, right?
Yeah.
Which was like when 49.
48, 49, yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. In 1948.
It is it's quite an odd setup, and this goes back hundreds of years because there's always been those tensions between the different religions. If you look at Jerusalem, all right, Jerusalem is one of those contentious areas because of religion. Both Israel and Palestine Authority claim Jerusalem as their capital.
Yeah.
They've both got sacred sites there. There is a religious police there to make sure that everything is monitored. It's a huge police force. There's CCTV everywhere, making sure that the religious sites, whether it be Judaism, Christianity, Islamic, all of them have their own special sites in the one city.
Yeah.
It's like a boiling pot of these different, and that's been going on hundreds of years, since the Crusades in the Middle Ages. So I don't see this going away. I mean, especially if somebody comes along and says, right, we're claiming this as a country, we're going to call it Israel. Rightly or wrongly, I have no opinion on the matter, but that's just, you can't just do that and get away with it. It's a bit like Russia taking Crimea. At some point, people are not going to like all this active border changing. And if you look at, I don't know, history, there's lots of border changes that happen through the times. Maybe this is one of those where we're just trying to find that state of settlement where everyone accepts and is happy with the borderline. Which borders change.
Yeah.
But think about, like, European context, right? Like, how often do the European borders change? I mean, if you look at, like, France and Germany, and especially like the border regions, or France and Spain, or France and Italy, and France and Germany. I mean, those border regions, they're generally bilingual because at some stage or the other they were under, let's say, just German authority or French authority, and every 50 or 100 years the authority changed and people just had to adapt.
Yeah, it might even just be through political agreement going, you know what, you guys are already speaking the wrong language. You guys, so they're not really part of us. So yeah, we'll just move that borderline over here and you'll give us something else in exchange.
Yeah.
Diplomatic agreements. I remember in my army days, there was a dispute between two tribes in the area where I was posted.
Yeah.
And it actually had been festering for some time because it's breeding grounds, right? It's breeding lands on how far they can take their cattle.
Yeah.
And it was between the one district and another, and they just happened to be different tribes were right on that. So one was Sutu and the other one was South Sutu, or I can't remember which one. So So we actually had the Minister of Internal Affairs and his entourage and representative from the homelands at that time all converged, and we flew them all over the place. And I was there on this border thinking, there's lots of heated debate, lots of it. And I'm looking at this, and the only dispute they had was the river, because of previous flooding, and the river had actually changed direction. So the river had moved, and that was always their position on that. The river is the border. But if the river moves,
okay. So
natural causes.
How was it settled?
I don't know, but looking at around there, it's probably settled on a number of cows. That's the sort of level we're talking at.
Okay.
I promise to give you 16 cows every year, or 600 cows, whatever it is, and you can have your extra kilometer of land.
So that's basically they managed to come up with some sort of amicable arrangement that suited both parties.
I assume so. At the time, there was lots of shouting as everybody tries to shout the loudest and win the argument.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that fertile, that the space they were talking about. I think it was just mainly, this has happened. You guys have moved in, you've made assumptions, and I want compensation, or I want it back.
Yeah.
You're using the land. Everybody knows the river's moved.
Yeah.
I'm not putting Jerusalem in the same
category.
Yeah.
What's your take?
I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I mean, I just, my knowledge of the history is that there was a UN resolution in 1948.
Yep.
That gave land, that created Israel, the state of Israel, and the same day that they were given that, the Arab surrounding countries attacked them. And I think that's where it started, and it's just never ended. Yeah.
Really sad situation.
Yeah. But I see, I was chatting to my mom today, and she was saying that a lot of Jewish people around the world are at this point not agreeing with how Israel's dealing with it. So, I don't know, is that a change in people's perception of what's going on there, and what's Israel's involvement in it, and how does it all fall? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, is it something that other countries will get involved in, like the US or so on?
I think US is constantly involved, and obviously UK is constantly involved. They might not be like at the forefront, but they constantly involved in what's happening in the Middle East, because I think for United States at least, Israel is one of the key allies, one of the only allies in the Middle East. I might be wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you always wonder if these things are going to spill over into something bigger. Like people taking sides, and then it becoming like one of those situations. I don't know what. Like,
I think everyone aware, like at least in that specific case, right? Everyone's aware that they're sitting on a tinderbox, and all they're trying to do is like make sure that there's not enough fire provided, so the situation just explodes. Yeah. Like I think we have problems.
Both sides antagonize the situation. I mean, because the population is growing, they're needing to build new houses, as an example. So they'll just go and build in the West Bank, and we'll say, well, that's Israeli territory. Is going to be a development for Israelis, and it'll be. I'm using them as an example. It could have been the other way around. This is what's happening. They're just going in until somebody pushes back. They'll just carry on. So people end up buying these houses, and then there's a conflict area, and your property value decreases, or your house gets blown to pieces in the fighting. It's nowhere to live there.
Yeah.
It's volatile. It's volatile.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know how I don't know how they sort the whole thing out. I mean,
I think like in order for you to reach some sort of like sustainable ceasefire is that you need to have compromises on both sides, you know. And if one of the sides is not willing to compromise to the same level that the other is, you know, it's like you're not gonna get anywhere. But at least I think the first point would be to stop shooting and start talking.
yeah,
Yeah, but there's others. It's similar to Syria, where a lot of the big military powers of the world, they've also got a presence there to support their ally.
Yeah.
So it's another one of those, as Andrew suggests. What if this triggers into some bushfire that no one can control?
So
This gets out of hand quickly.
So the issue is that like I think Syria is like a slightly different case, because Russia made it very clear that nothing's happening in Syria without its veto, and as the strongest superpower in that specific area, it basically calls the shots. But there are a lot of tension between, like, for example, say Turkey and Russia and US in that area, and obviously Iran, because it falls into their strategic area of interest. But Turkey and Iran are like regional superpowers. US already made it very clear that they're not really interested in that region. So Russia says, no, well, this is like our key strategic partner, so we're going to look out for our interests there. So as the strongest superpower in that specific area, it calls the shots. With regards to like, for example, say, Israeli and Palestinian conflict, there's a lot of also regional interests involved. Like, there's pretty much every power in that region has a slice in that conflict, which makes it even further complicated.
yeah.
Complicates the situation further. So yeah.
I think you must just take the land away from everyone. Naughty boys.
Yeah, do like an American Wild West thing, where everyone gets a flag and they
Yeah.
run and stake their claim, and they start again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, start from the beginning again. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is that.
But Lester is right. The whole thing has got also like a religious angle to it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, Jerusalem is considered to be the capital of Palestine and the capital of Israel, and both parties claim the city, right,
Yeah.
as theirs. And what complicates the matter even further is that, like, Jerusalem is sort of has the holy sites from like different faiths, from Christianity, from Orthodox Christianity, from, you know, different branches of Christianity, from Islam. I think Al-Aqsa Mosque is there. From Judaism, obviously the Wailing Wall and Temple Mount is there. And it's very close to each other. So it's like, how do you...
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very, and I mean, this is the thing is, I mean, when you go back in the history, you know, different people were in that area, different phases through history. So now, which one supersedes the other? Because somewhere along the line, okay, like the Jews were there, then they were pushed out by the Arabs at some stage, right? So the Jews got dispersed across other areas. And then during that time, the Arabs go and demolish their Jewish temple and build their mosque on top of it. So now what?
I think the temple was demolished by the Romans.
Was it the Romans? Or was it during the
Romans.
Ottoman era?
No, it was the Romans.
Okay.
So it was the Romans that demolished it, and then when the Ottoman era came, they saw an empty spot and built the
nicely put. There was an empty spot, so we thought, okay, we'd take it.
There was already a holy spot with foundations. Why let it go to waste?
Exactly. That was nicely put, Oleg.
No, seriously, look it up. I think I think I remember it correctly in terms of like I think the Romans demolished the temple. So if there's any questions, like refer them to the current Italy. You know, they should be able
So,
to.
yeah, right. You
Have
mean
you,
to the
have you guys
to
ever
the
seen that-
Vatican?
that-
You mean to the Vatican?
Well, at that stage, the Vatican did not exist. It was the old Roman Empire. So it wasn't the Holy Roman Empire. It was the old Roman Empire that demolished it.
Yeah, no, you're right. In 70 AD, just see here, how many times has the Jewish temple been destroyed? The temple suffered at the hands, removed to, okay, but that was before Christ. Temple of Jerusalem, history and significance. Yeah. Actually, you know, the problem is I don't know enough about this stuff, so like you. Anyway. Yeah. What can be said?
Have you ever seen that that montage? It's probably on YouTube somewhere, where they show through the history of time how borders have changed.
Yeah, I did. That's
And
pretty cool.
it actually accelerated a lot in the last like 150, 200 years.
Okay.
But you can clearly see, you know, the Roman times and how that impacted it, but that was the start, really, because before that, everyone just didn't really travel, didn't really care, and then we went through the Middle Ages. Yeah, it was interesting.
It was rough times.
Some places disappear and they come back again.
Yeah.
And disappear again as they become provinces rather than countries in their own rights.
Yeah. So, for example's sake, Andrew, you know, Alaska actually used to belong to Russia.
Did it?
Yeah.
So what happened?
It was sold to the United States to settle King's gambling debts. No, seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a cooler story than other historical events.
Oh, we live in a different era. Oh, damn it, I lost on roulette again. Okay.
Yeah.
What have I got left?
Yeah.
Oh, that frozen rubbish place over there? Yeah. You know
Yeah,
what?
give it to
You want it?
America.
Yeah, I've got loads of space here. I don't need that.
Didn't
The
you?
next one is Siberia.
So didn't you? Weren't you wondering, like, how come, like, for example's sake, like in North America, you have US, then you have Canada, and then you have the US again on top.
No, I never thought about it.
I always thought, why does it not belong to Canada?
Mm.
Well, do you
It
think
should
Canada
really.
could annex Alaska from United States? Do you think the next actually conflict is going to be between Canada and the US?
Canada doesn't have enough guns. Nobody wants. Yeah.
No, the Canadians are too polite, man.
Yeah. No. I insist. You take it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't really mean to look at your land with a dodgy eye.